I don't really talk about my feelings very often. Most of the time, people are talking to me about how they're feeling, and I'm helping them or comforting them. So I thought today would be a good idea. I just do this for myself to have this video. 9 years ago, my life changed. A lot of lives changed, and for a long time, I couldn't talk about that day. I'm talking probably about 3 or 4 years. It was probably before I could talk about the events of that day, and maybe a few more years after that where I could talk about it without crying. And today, this morning, or even yesterday, I remember thinking, I'm like, oh, it's been 9 years tomorrow. I think I'm fine. I think that I'm going to, maybe I don't need to do the things that we normally do tomorrow because I think I'm actually fine. I think I'm okay. And then I woke up this morning and I went to work. And when I stepped outside, the sky was brilliant blue, no clouds, and the air was the same as that morning. And I was overcome again, and tears were flowing my whole way to work on the bus. I'm sure people thought I was crazy. So I think maybe I need to talk about it more. And I don't know if I'm going to share this video, but I definitely think I need to get it off, all of it off of my chest. Usually when I tell the story, I leave some things out because I'm thinking of how the other person might be feeling as I'm telling it. And so I don't know, well, I'm going to do my best. I'm not very good at speaking on the spot or expressing my feelings or opinions on the spot. I usually need to write things down and organize the thoughts before I'm able to share them. I actually don't even know what I'm really trying to say. I just think I need to talk and get this off of my chest. So on May 20th, 2010, I woke up late to, my sister had her prom the night before, and I slept in New Jersey at my sister's house, and I woke up late from there. I remember I had to borrow an outfit from my stepmom. I drove and I parked in Staten Island, got the bus to work. And not too long after I got to work, I got a call from my mother saying that my little brother, Lindsay, had been in an accident and no one knew where he was. Staten Island has 3 major hospitals, so he was in one of 3 places, but we didn't know where. She said that she'd spoken to my Aunt Nikki, and Aunt Nikki was that I should meet up with her and that she would drive me to go find him together. I remember getting up immediately, running to the back of the doctor's office, which is where I worked at the time, telling my manager I had to go. My brother had been in an accident. Grabbing my stuff, running outside, down Broadway to where my aunt worked, not too far from me. We took the bus to her car. When we got to her car, we were just kind of thinking through, like, okay, what hospital should we start at? We got another phone call from my mother saying that my grandmother had heard that, got a call that he was at Staten Island North. And all of this time, I remember, and I saw it in my Facebook memories this morning, I guess I had asked people to, just pray. And I think I already knew that it was really bad before we even got there. So when we got to Staten Island North, we went into the emergency room, gave our names. We were taken into a room and said that a doctor was going to come speak to us. I'll never forget this man because I've seen him a couple other times. And going to the emergency room, he came in and just very I don't want to say cold, but detached as possible. He sat us down and he just started talking and he explained what happened, that there had been an accident and my brother was crushed by a semi-truck. The team arrived. They put him into the ambulance. They decided to take him to the Northside Hospital which the South hospital is actually closer to him, but they decided to take him to the North anyway. He died in the ambulance, and they revived him. And then I had gotten like this feeling of hope at that moment. And then he said, and they got him to the hospital here and they intubated him. There's nothing they could do. He was gone. And I remember just sitting there staring at him in shock. And my aunt let out a wail. And I just sat there. No tears came, nothing. Just shocked. And I went into my usual mode, which is, okay, now we have a problem. Now we have to solve it. Now you have to go tell your mother that her son died. So I remember getting up and walking outside and just staring up at the sky and looking. It was just so blue. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was just so blue. And I remember I picked up the phone and I called my brother because I didn't want my mom to hear it without them being together. So I called and I said, Corey, I need you to get mom. I need you to sit on the couch with her. And he said, why, Darren? Why? What's going on? And we're both pretty much the same. Like, we're very, like, calm voice when there's, like, a issue going on. Because we're used to lots of issues going on. And I said, Corey, just get mom. Just get mom. Get her, please. You can put her on the couch. We need to tell her something. So he goes and gets her, and they sit on the couch, and she's like, Darren, what? What? Just tell me. And I said, Mom, Lindsay died. And I'll never, ever, 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 to this day, I'm never going to forget the sound that she made. I couldn't even recreate the sound. I can't describe it. I can hear it in my head all the time. But I will never, that sound will always be with me. Forever. I guess I went back inside the hospital room. And I sat. My Aunt Nikki had called some people. I probably don't really remember. I think it was Aunt Lori came. Maybe Aunt Pat. I don't really remember. And I sat there and I was just sitting in the waiting room. And this guy came out and was saying to me, hey, your brother was an organ donor. We really need to take him. And this is probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:12, maybe 1 o'clock. And I said, no, I'm sorry. You can't take him until my mom gets here to see him. I'm sorry. And he said, he walked away. And I remember Tamara, she was working in the hospital. She came and she found me. And she's like me, stealth mode. Do I need anything? And I'm still sitting there calm, collected, just trying to figure out, like, what are the next steps? What are we doing? She asked me if I wanted to see him. And I said, no, I can't see him. I said, okay. And then Tamara started calling people, and people started showing up at the hospital. French was there. Tamara. And some of Lindsay's friends started coming by. Justin. Derek. There was just people, and I was just still sitting in the waiting room waiting. And the guy came back again, and I know he was doing his best not to be pushy. But I said, again, you can't take my brother until my mom gets here. And finally, I think PJ had gotten there with Christy and Jigga. And they went back to go see him, and I still hadn't seen him yet. And then finally somebody convinced me to go back there into the room where he was. I walked in and he was laid out on the table and he still had the ventilator in him. And he just looked like himself, but asleep. And I still really couldn't look at him. So I sat down in the corner and the guy came back and I said, okay. He explained to me that they had to take his organs as soon as possible. And they put me on the phone with the organ donor company and still stealth phone, walked me through all these questions about my brother and what I needed to answer. And I just remember PJ and Christy and Jake standing there just crying and thinking to myself, that's really nice that, I really haven't known my brother that long. He's only lived here a year and they feel so much pain over. I thought that would, I'm not to say nice, but I was kind of, I guess, touched by that. Though I'm talking about it now, it's kind of a little bit of a blur about like a lot of people there, but there were like some key like moments that I remember. And then I think finally they convinced me to go home, and they drove me home. I remember opening French's car door. I was sitting in the back. I opened the door and I immediately just vomited. And I don't think I still had cried at that point. And I went in the apartment and I went to sleep. In that time at Nikki, I've been able to get Mom and Corey on a flight. And friends, Lindsay's friends, planned candlelight memorial for him. And later on that night, we all just stood where his accident was and had candles. I just talked about this day, and I feel like it's a short span of time, and it really it was the longest day and the hardest day of my life.